Hello! In this video we are going to learn how we can include spaces in our file names in Linux. So right now I am on my desktop, and let's say for example that I want to create a directory and I want to call it my job. So I would just say mkdir my job, and yeah, I'm done. I created my directory my job. However, what if I want to include a space between my and job here? What if I want to insert a space between my and job? So I would quickly write mkdir my space job. But as you can see, this creates two separate directories. And of course that's because if you remember the general format of the mkdir command, that if you want to create multiple directories, all you need to do is just to separate their names by a space. So this command, for example, will create three separate directories, directory 1, 2, and 3, right? This is why when I said mkdir my space job, it created two separate directories. But this was not my intention. I wanted to create a single directory named my space job. So how can we achieve this? Before we learn how to do this, I would like to remove those directories that I made here. Okay. Yeah. So there are three ways that you can use to include spaces in your file name. And the very first one I would like you guys to know is the single quotations way. So if you want to create a directory named my job, all you need to do is just surround your file name, or your directory name in this case, by single quotes. So as you can see, if you surround your directory name with single quotes, this will create it with a space. And if you don't see the space here very clear, I can make another directory and I can put 3 spaces. So my space 1, 2, 3 job. And as you can see here, I have another directory named my job with 3 spaces in between my and job. So this was the first way. So the first way is to put your file name, whether it's a directory, whether it's a file or whatever, and you have to put single quotes in between. You have to surround your file name with single quotes. So this was the first way. The second way, which is very similar to the first, is you can use double quotes instead of the single ones. So here, for example, I will make a directory and I won't call it my work. So here I surround it with double quotes and it will also work. And if you want to increase the number of spaces, I can make a directory and I'll call it I like Linux a lot. This will create a directory named I like Linux a lot, and there is a space between each word here, as you can see. Perfect. And actually if you do an ls-l, as you can see here, my directory name, and here is the spaces visible. Okay, so this was the second way that you can use to make to include spaces in your file names. Is it to just surround your file name between to surround it with double quotations. So you can either surround it with single quotes or you can surround it with double quotes. Okay, so the third and last way is to use the escape character backslash. In our shell we call the backslash an escape character, and in a later video you will know why we call it an escape character. So how can you use an escape character to include a space in your file name? It is very simple. The rules are: precede any space with a backslash. So for example, if I want to create a directory and I want to call it my cat, right? So here I have a space, right? So I have to put, all I need to do is just put a backslash before my space, and I'm done. So here I have my cat. But however, though, you have to be careful, because if you have double spaces, for example, I have to put 2 backslashes, because you know why? The first backslash will be for my first space, and the second backslash will be for my second space. And so this one here will create a directory named my cat with 2 spaces between my and cat, as you can see here. So before any space you simply put a backslash. So you have to precede any space with a backslash. Yeah, and that's it. So this was the last way that you can use to include spaces in your file names. So right now I created all these directories, right? And I want to delete them all now. So how can I do this? I cannot just use rmdir command and then I say, for example, if I want to delete my job, I cannot say my space job, because this will try to remove separate directories, my and job. However, this one is a single directory, not 2 directories. So you simply can use the 3 ways, any of the 3 ways that we just learned to delete or remove your directory. So for example, for the first directory I will use the single quotes way, my space job, deleted, perfect. For the second directory I will use the double quotations, for example, double quotes, yeah. We have 3 spaces here, so perfect. And also I can delete this one with my backslash idea or my backslash way. So I would say my and have a space, so I have to include backslash and then work. Okay, and then for this one I will also use the backslash way, so I would say I backslash like backslash Linux backslash a backslash lot. Cool. I'll also use the backslash for the other 2 directories here, and my backslash cat. Perfect. So now I removed all my directories. Okay, so this was all the 3 ways that you can use to include a space in your file name. But before I end this video, I want to tell you one more thing. So even if you don't include a space, so for example, if you say here, for example, directory 1, this will create directory 1 just like normal, you know. So it will not include the double quotes. And in the next video I will actually show you how to include the double quotes, the single quotes, and many other special characters in your file names. But this video was just for spaces. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Ciao.